you're right. It's like very important to kind of adapt to the AI tools and like know how to use them, because as with everything, your job will change basically. It will just change. Yeah. Some will go away, sure, but like mostly it will just change and something else will come up, and like a new form of like a job will come up basically. Yeah. I'm not necessarily worried about like them fully going away. I don't think that we're going to be like not working in the near future, but like I think it's like different jobs basically, and you have to kind of adapt to it. All right. Welcome, another episode, AI Serious. We had to move it last week, unexpected, but here we are 1 week later. How are you, Nick?
There we go. And more AI stuff has come out, and we'll definitely be able to cover even more stuff.
Yes. Yeah, last night, I think, to be honest, the baby stuff just hit. We had a sick baby, and so didn't sleep until 3 a.m. And so I called Nick, or I texted him like, hey, like, we got to move this by like 1 week. Like, this is like not happening. Like, I can't sit here and like just get you all through this like sleep deprived state. So I'm happy that we figured it out. I'm sorry for moving it like last minute, but it's always good to see you, Nick. How are things in Europe right now? You're still in Amsterdam, so how are things?
Yeah, it's good to see you too. It's dark already. I mean, it is 6 p.m. here, so it's a little later, but we are getting into the winter months. But it's still it's going really well. Started the new gig, and I've been working there for a few weeks, and that's been really fun working with larger companies on AI projects and trying to get that to move forward.
That's amazing. Well, always good to see you. We have a full agenda. I think we have a pretty cool docket, which is exciting. Lots of stuff happening as always. We have probably a cool demo lined up as well. But let's start talking about it. We have Google launching Gemini Enterprise, which if you have the G Suite, if you have like a Gmail account and you use it for like your work stuff, basically, now there's like an official plan with it. It basically allows you to like kind of embed the Gemini functionality into like the entire G Suite, which is pretty sweet. And they just kind of announced a plan, so now you can sign up for it. It was kind of like sprinkled in between. It was like separate plans, additional plans. But now it's kind of like there and available. It's pretty cool if you think about it, for like just productivity, to be honest. Like I was looking for like an email the other day that I received like a furniture piece like 3 years ago or so. And I was looking for like the value of it, like how much it was, because I was selling it on Facebook Marketplace. And for the life of me, I couldn't find the email. And so I was like, what am I doing? Like, let me just use Gemini. So I like typed in Gemini, like, hey, I bought this piece around X time frame, and it found the email within like 2 seconds. And I was like, why am I still searching? Like, let me just ask the chat, basically. But Nick, have you had a chance to play around with Gemini a lot in the G Suite lately? I know they've made like a ton of changes. I don't know if you're like a top three or like a couple of features that you like a lot with the G Suite.
Yeah, they're finally connecting all of the Google products with Gemini. So there's just a lot of different things that you can start doing. You can even in Google Sheets, you can prompt it to add formulas in certain cells. So you don't have to search for the formula, try to figure it out. You can actually just prompt it, and it will create the equations and the formulas for you. And then, so that one I've been really liking a lot. It's not always there yet. It's not perfect, but it's still it's finally sort of connecting all the dots and moving forward there. One other thing that's interesting that I haven't tried yet, but on Google video calls on the Hangouts, you can actually prompt it to create a background. So you can have different backgrounds show up. I saw the notification, and then I tried to find it, and I couldn't find where I could actually make that change. But that's going to be coming up too. So that's more of a fun thing. But finally, either way, it's just going to be much more integrated with Gemini in all the different places, which, you know, for many of the flows that we had created and had worked on as AI agencies, where you actually create a RAG, let's call it, or essentially a database of all of the information for the company. Here you are, if you have it all on Google with Google Docs and everything, then now you can search it. And now you don't have to build something to search and put all the information in. So it does make it much easier.
Yeah, I agree. I think even I've been using I use a lot of Gmeet. I've actually like switched from Zoom mostly to Google Meet now. But the note taking
How
is
so?
phenomenal because it just it like transcribes the entire meeting.
Yeah.
You can turn it automatically now, so it just turns it on. It basically puts together a doc, like a Google Doc afterwards, saves it into your G Drive, and you don't need like any other apps anymore. Like I know people have been using like Granola and other apps, but like for me, it's just like it's built in. I don't start anything. There's no bot joining. Like there's no like um, Fathom or anything joining. It's just like sitting there and like taking notes and like creating a doc and sharing it with all the meeting attendees. And it's like pretty neat. And I think it's pretty good actually in terms of the quality. And again, it's free. It's built in, and you don't have to worry about it. It just like starts automatically.
And what's nice is you can go back to your calendar to earlier events
Yeah,
a week ago and just go to those notes. You don't have to
yeah.
try to find the doc that people took notes in or whatever. It's just all in one place, which is really nice.
That's exactly right. It's super helpful. And then if you kind of want to summarize even like team meetings for like the last 6 months, like you can kind of like do that, and it kind of like knows what documents to pick. You can just basically say like, hey, get me all the notes from like this meeting series, and it kind of puts it all together, creates a summary. Really cool stuff. Like really just like all the stuff you kind of like were dreading in the past is now like easy accessible at your fingertips. So I love that Google is kind of like putting it all together finally, as you said. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep. Super cool.
Um, Awesome. Next up, I think, again, we had a ton of OpenAI stuff last week. They continue to ship. They don't disappoint. But OpenAI is coming out or came out with their own browser called Atlas. I think we've seen that now. Like Perplexity came out with their browser called Comet. There's now a Claude Code extension in Google Chrome. They're pushing Gemini into Google Chrome. So there's a ton of stuff happening, basically. But obviously now OpenAI is bringing out their own browser, Atlas. It's kind of like a Google Chrome, so you can still use all your Chrome plugin extensions, basically. But the neat part is you now have basically like your OpenAI, your ChatGPT on the right side, and it does things for you. So like an agent, like the same thing we talked about, like Comet, it kind of like does things for you. You just type it in what you want to do, and it will like kind of browse the internet for you. And the reason that's really cool, in my opinion, is because, again, we talked about something a couple of times now, but you already logged in, so it has access to your credentials in your browser. You don't get blocked by any like Cloudflare or like certain like applications that don't want to have like OpenAI scraping them or looking for them, because it's just running on your local machine. So it has access really to everything, which is pretty cool. And it's on Chrome, so like you can just use all the Chrome extensions. I've played with it. To be honest, like I still can't convince myself to move away from like Google Chrome. It's just like there's just something about like the simplicity and like the agentic features are not just there yet, where I think it's the right step in the right direction. Same with like Comet, but like I still switch back to Chrome.
Yeah.
What about you? Have you switched over? Like, have you tried it? Like Nick, like tell us
Yeah.
about how you feel about it.
Yeah, I played around with it as well. I think it's very similar to Comet in terms of
Mm-hmm.
what it can do, how long it takes to do things, and it looks very similar in that way as well. It's a lot of human behavioral change to switch over to it. To be honest, I'm still on Comet, and I haven't been using the assistant that much. It's as if I'm just using Chrome. I'm not even using any sort of other features, and I think that it's going to stay that way until it comes out with a special feature that I really am excited about.
Yeah.
I think the play makes sense. It's how we interact with the internet, browsers in general, and so being in that space is going to be important in the future. In the extreme future, who knows how long, it'll be agents talking to agents. It'll be us asking questions, saying like, hey, can you create an itinerary and book everything for my trip to Italy and things like that. And it'll just be our agent talking to other agents to book it. And a lot of the browser that we know of is going to change. So they're jumping into that now, trying to figure out what that looks like in the future. But yeah, that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I think they're also getting a lot of training data probably. Like I think that's why they're doing it as well, because like obviously they're getting blocked by certain sites. they don't have access to LinkedIn, for example. So like now if you use your agent and go to LinkedIn, 100% sure they just scrape that and they use that for training data purposes. So I think actually they just want to get it out there so they get more proprietary training data that allows them to have like more data than anybody else, and like especially data that's like not just accessible on the web because it's being blocked or it's like gated by some sort of like login basically.
Yeah, totally. I think looking at it from that lens is very important. I think whatever product, whatever tool these large LLM companies, these large organizations do, thinking about the data that they're going to be collecting is super important. We even saw that when we were talking about Sora, the AI sort of video creation. That is also a lot of data. If a user posts a video, then that means that they like it in some way, that there's probably something in that that's good. And so that's a lot of data that they're collecting, not only to help for videos in the future, but also potentially creating world models, which are going to be important for robots, things like that. So yeah, it's important to look at it from that lens.
Talking about Sora, have you played with the app? Have you gotten access to it?
No, I can't get it here in Europe.
Oh my God, that's right, because it's only available in the US, right?
Yep. So I have not been able to play with it or like create videos. Have you created some videos? Have you played?
Yeah, I got access to it on my last trip. My uncle actually invited me, and so we were at I was like at dinner, and I was like, I was gone. I was just like in my app. I was like, it's all right. I hit like the capacity for the day. But it's phenomenal. Like it's so fun to play with. And you can obviously use your face. Like that's like the main thing, right? You can do like the cameo feature where you can put yourself in it, which is like awesome. And I was actually driving back a moving truck from Austin, my last trip. And I was just like joking around with my family. I was like, I'm a truck driver now. Like I'm one of them. And so I just like did like this Sora video where I was like a truck driver and like a social media influencer, and like it was just hilarious. Like it was just like so funny, and it's like it's amazing like how fast it works and just like how good the quality is and like how it does like all the scripting basically around you, so you have to like have the perfect prompt. It just kind of comes up and know what you want. It's pretty hilarious, especially when you like mix multiple people together. I was like, hey, go tag this person, and then we're all like in the same video, and now you have like 3, 4, 5 of your friends in like the same video, and you can just go bonkers. It's hilarious. Like it's like a total like gimmick, but like it's super fun to play with, especially when you can like tag others and like put them all in one video.
Yeah, super cool. Yeah, someday I'll be able to access it. Maybe not until I come back to the US for the holidays, but
that's right. We'll Got to come back first. The good stuff is only over here.
Yeah, right. I mean, they have been posting some videos on X, some sort of videos and stuff of like really big fat cats breaking houses and things, and so that's really fun to watch. So it's humorous, definitely.
Yeah, I think actually with that piece, what they're asking for forgiveness before than asking for permission, basically, which is like a typical Silicon Valley mode. But I thought one thing that was actually really interesting is like the licensing piece, because in the beginning it was like super open, you can do anything. And then they kind of cracked down more and they kind of told you like, hey, this is like copyright material, you can't do this. But what their claim is that they can kind of like identify who is who. And they can say like if you create like the Iron Man from Disney, for example, like the Marvel character, it knows when you do that, and it can kind of tell the owners of like, hey, like this person created a video. And I think this is like so huge and fundamental in the copyright situation, because if you can prove that you can detect all these characters and these characters sign up, now you can basically like incentivize this whole thing, and you can actually solve the problem because you just pay them. Like you basically say like for each video we create, you get 10 cents. And we know whenever they create a video, and so now they monetize it and they can actually solve this whole copyright issue. And I think what's actually even funner is you can now have other companies come in and partner up with them and be like, hey, here is my content. Like let's say Disney goes to them, here's my content, my library, you are allowed to use them, and OpenAI pays them back. And then if you cancel the contract as the user, let's say you lose access to like your custom Marvel characters. But so now you can upcharge them and basically be like, hey, like to get access to Marvel, you pay $10. To get access to Disney, football, blah, blah. So like, I think that's actually a really interesting way to solve this whole problem with like copyright. And I'm curious to see where this goes and if they have truly like a way to kind of solve this problem.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting.
Awesome. Let's see. Who else is up next on our agenda? We have Amazon.
All right.
This is a spicy one.
Yeah.
We got a leaked article, automation. There's some job displacement. Let's talk about it. You kick it off, Nick.
Yeah. So this came out a few weeks ago. This article was leaked from inside Amazon, saying that they have a goal to automate 75% of US operations by 2033. That's not far. That's not too far out. And this is to save them $12.6 billion by avoiding hiring 160,000 workers. This is one of many other companies that are sort of cutting back on hiring and also reducing headcount in general. There's this discussion about, is this because AI can do the job? And at this point, that's not necessarily the case. AI can do parts of a job, but to do a full job is still very hard, and it's hard to set this up. It's not that easy. But what this is, Amazon included, is they want to be nimble. They want to be able to be ready for when they can automate as much as they can in the robotic space, as well as people behind the computer. And they want to be sort of at startup mode where they can go after whatever that looks like as we sort of figure things out. That's the idea with Amazon. I think that's the underlying idea with many companies cutting back. AI it can do certain tasks and certain skills really well. It can even do tasks for a certain amount of hours. You can imagine that in 6 months to a year, it could do tasks over 24 hours. But for a full-time job, to replace that, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of hiring AI engineers, so it's not there yet, but they're preparing to set themselves up for success, because otherwise there will be a new Amazon that comes in that's AI ready and then sort of takes over. So that's what they're really looking for here.
How do you think about, I know there was a couple of like comments and like buzz around this in terms of like job displacements and jobs being lost and AI replacing jobs. How do you think about that narrative? And like, do you think it's true, or do you think it's more like it's kind of like the evolution? They've already been working on this, and this is kind of like just the next step. Like, it's not like this is new. Like, they've been working on this for years. They already have a bunch of robots, basically.
Yeah. In general, I think that there's just going to be a lot of displacement and a lot of skills that are going to become obsolete or not important for us as humans to do anymore, because we'll have automation, we'll have tech to be able to handle that. And so it's really important for us to actually embrace AI as much as possible. Because if you even just think about the future a little bit, you can think, okay, there are going to be probably less full-time jobs, more entrepreneurs, more freelancers doing work for various companies. There's also going to be less, maybe less people doing certain jobs, but then still having people that are sort of managing agents that are doing a lot of the data research or whatever else. So then you become more a data strategist, let's say, rather than a data researcher. And so those sort of things are definitely going to be happening. And that transition is going to be extremely difficult if we're not sort of embracing and discussing and working with AI. So I definitely think that's the case. And so it's gonna it's going to come quickly and it's going to sort of jump in, and but it's going to happen either way. And so we really do need to be a part of that.
Yeah. I think personally, like, I don't know how much there is necessarily of like displacement. Obviously things will change. Like, I don't get me wrong, but like, I feel like they already have like so many robots, right? So they're just trying to get to the next step. And so like, it's not like they've been working on this like since today, and like AI is the reason that like the jobs are being displaced. I think the narrative is really important here, because like, you don't want to make AI the boogeyman here. You basically want to say like, this is something that they've been working on for like 20 years now. Like, the robots are already there. Like, they already do, like right now they just do like one job. Like, they can do one thing well, but that's it. Humanoid robots will obviously change that, because they can do everything a human can do. But to say that like AI is the reason that will go away, I think that's kind of like where we have to be careful. It's like, this was already like in play. Like, this is like just now being accelerated and being enhanced more. But like, at the end of the day, like, this was already kind of come. And so I think you're right. It's like very important to kind of adapt to the AI tools and like know how to use them, because as with everything, your job will change basically. Like, it will just change. Some will go away, sure, but like mostly it will just change, and something else will come up, and like a new form of like a job will come up basically. And I'm not necessarily worried about like them fully going away. I don't think that we're going to be like not working in the near future, but like, I think it's like different jobs basically, and you have to kind of adapt to it.
Yeah, totally. Jervin's paradox, which essentially which essentially says this, where when they came out with containers, specific containers for shipping, they thought, okay, the people that would be packing the ships or whatever, that there would be less people working on it. But it actually, yes, that happened for that role. But the boom in sort of how to transport these containers better, how the logistics around it and everything else definitely increased the number of jobs exponentially. Yeah. One crazy stat about Amazon: they just hit their 1 million robots in their warehouses, which is almost as many as the amount of humans that they have working for them. I'm sorry, human workers in the US in total.
Yes.
So
that includes like AWS, like all like non-warehouses. Yes.
Yeah. So super
still wild. Still wild. Like that, if you think about like 1.2 million employees or so, like wild. Like just wild to me. Like, how do you have
crazy numbers?
It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's wild. Like, I drive by these warehouses and I'm like, this is insane. Like, their hiring process is actually really cool. Like, I don't know if you've seen this, but like, you can get a job at Amazon in a warehouse literally in an automated fashion. Like, it's like almost like a phone call away, and you can start working the same day. It's totally nuts. Like, the way they recruit, because obviously their problem is like, there's not enough people that need a job. And so they're like, we're out of humans that need a job. Like, I mean, unemployment is like record low basically. So they're actually looking for humans, but like, the way you get an Amazon job, you basically call in. It's almost like an automated like hotline. You just show up, you show your credentials, and be like, all right, here you go work. And like, that's it. It's like the same day. It's like absolutely nuts. Like, you can literally start working the same day in the warehouse. It's absolutely crazy. They have it like fully automated.
That's crazy. Wow. Super interesting.
Yeah. I think they're looking for people all the time, because like, again, not enough people that want to do the job and that are like not employed basically.
Yeah.
It's wild.
So
awesome.
the next thing.
Yes, you have the next one too. Go ahead.
This one's pretty cool. This is a little pie in the sky sort of world. This is Google. They're in their moonshot space, where they try things that are just out of this world. They just posted an article on Suncatcher, and Suncatcher is their way of testing to have data centers. There's been a lot of talk about data centers and building those, and some the size of Manhattan and so forth. But they want to build data centers in space. This is crazy. This is really, I think it's fascinating. One thing is with data centers is the cooling aspect. It takes a lot of energy to cool. In space, it's pretty cold. So that is already in part something that's really easy to use. And then, of course, solar, you have a 24/7 sun for these solar data centers. So that's also really fascinating. And then they're sending up in 2027, they're going to be sending up TPUs, which is bigger than the GPUs, which is bigger than the CPUs. And they'll be sending those up there. And then that will also be able to send data and information back to Earth. So they're really moving in this direction. Bezos also thinks that, in 5 years, 10 years, this is going to be the way we have data centers. Less headache for them as well. It's costly right now, but less headache than building them in various countries. So yeah, super interesting. What do you think about this, JP?
I think it's super interesting. Look, I think that companies like SpaceX basically like make this possible, commercializing space. I think this is definitely something that's going to come. I mean, it's already happening. Their internet, like they're building up an internet connection. So basically, what do you do with the data up there? Well, now you have a way to like stream it down back to Earth, basically, because you have an internet connection, you have satellites that can kind of like build the streaming, and it's really fast, which is crazy. So like you wouldn't even know if it's in space or if it's like in Virginia. Like it's the same latency basically, which is wild to think about. But I think it makes a ton of sense because look, they're running into problems right now. They're canceling data centers because we don't have enough power. We don't have enough electricity. And so when you build these data centers in these cities, everybody's like, hold on a second, like my electricity is already expensive. Probably going to go up because like these things consume an enormous amount of electricity. So there was actually an article the other day where they shut down two or three, I forgot the exact number, 2 or 3 data center projects within a week, in the same week. And it was like Microsoft and it was Google, Amazon. I think Amazon and Microsoft basically said like they got too much pushback from the cities and the local authorities, mostly the people living there, because they were worried about like electricity and price increases basically. And so I think it's going to be a very big problem that they're going to have to solve eventually, because nobody wants these data centers right now, but we need them. And there's like a huge problem of electricity. And so like, if you think about like bringing it to space, sure, it might get more expensive to like bring it up there, but like you have nobody that can complain about it. You have B, as you said, built-in cooling, and C, you have like the electricity built in because you have solar and like you have sun all the time, basically. So I think it's like actually genius to do this. I don't know how realistic it is to like actually like how close we are to like actually doing this, right? But if you think about like that we have internet up there now, like is it really this far-fetched? Like what's the difference of like satellites and like actually having like an internet connection and like a phone connection? How is that different to just like sending up something that can just like run a computer operation basically? Like it's just like a server too. So I don't know. I think this thing could be like just happening and all of a sudden like you're like, how the fuck is this even possible? Or like, like next thing you know, like or it's like the opposite, like this will never be possible, and it's like one of those moonshot projects, right? But I think there's like a realistic chance that like all of a sudden like these things just are up there and you have a bunch of servers flying around. Like how did we get you so fast? Like I think there's a very good chance of like this just happening, and like we are like, wow, this is insane.
Yeah totally.
It's wild. It's crazy what's happening out there. I love that they're doing it though. I think that's kind of like where a lot of people are saying like Google should not be broken up, because they do these moonshot projects, right? Like they have like the capital to just kind of be like, let's try it out. And so if you would break them up, you don't really have these opportunities anymore, because like they won't have the capital, right? And so like who else would do this? Like a startup would be crazy. They will never get funding. So you need companies like Google to just kind of try it out and see what's out there.
Yeah, totally. In other news, NVIDIA achieves $5 trillion in valuation due to various chip deals, and sort of like this also paying OpenAI and then OpenAI buying things back. And so it's a lot of sort of this weird voodoo stuff. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like a circle.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like you
So
buy stuff from me, I buy stuff from you, and then like we both have like more revenue. And you're like, is
yeah,
this how this really works? Like that
yeah.
sounds like Enron.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And AI companies' valuations are just going through the roof,
it's
and
nuts.
it's it's super nuts. We'll see. I foresee some sort of an AI bubble someday, to at least take off the froth. There's still value there, but there will be sort of setting expectations and getting back to where that value is. But when that happens, not sure.
Yeah, I think there will be correction for sure. I don't know how big of a bubble necessarily is, but like for sure correction.
Mm,
I think that's normal. Like it's new,
yeah.
everything gets hyped up. Um, but what's interesting is NVIDIA is like really good at training data, meaning like you can train the model. But then when you actually like use ChatGPT, for example, you do something that's called like inference. So like you already trained the model, it's already there. You then run something inference, and that's actually where NVIDIA is getting a bunch of competition, because there's a bunch of other models and other chips out there that actually work really efficient at inference in particular. The reason that NVIDIA is so successful at the training part is, and why it's hard to compete with them right now, is because they don't just have the hardware, they also have the software. So like everything that ties into it, like data centers, the software that you run on those chips, it's called CUDA, like it's all kind of built in. It's like it's like an ecosystem basically. So you can't just like put another chip and be like, oh, all of a sudden like NVIDIA is like losing all their margins, like, or their business. It's like, it's actually really hard and really tough to compete with NVIDIA on the training side, because like it's a whole ecosystem of like software that goes into it. So I'm very bullish on them. I don't think this is going to be like a company that will like all of a sudden tank. Obviously, no financial advice given here, but I think there's like a lot of like value behind it, because they do have like a very like defensible mechanism in the market where you can't just like come in and like compete with NVIDIA on like day one, basically.
Yeah.
Especially on the training side, I should say. Inference different, but like on the training side, they're like definitely like hard to touch right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Very true.
Cool. Awesome. Those were, I think, pretty much all the general news and updates, all the major ones that we wanted to cover at least. I think there's always a lot happening. I'm surprised a little bit, like no new models have popped up. So it's like kind of like
Yeah.
a surprise this time. Like everything is kind of like the same. We're like, okay, like don't touch anything. But we do have a couple of demos, or at least like want to kind of like go through a couple of things that were introduced within Claude Code, or within Claude, I should say. It's not Claude Code necessarily. Claude, which is Anthropic's competitor to ChatGPT, they basically introduced a functionality called skills. And so basically skills is something where it's highly specified of like what it's going to do. Obviously, if you type something in, you always know it's like super generic. Like it's always like gifted a preference, like who you are, what you want to do, basically. But think of skills like if you always want to use Claude for, let's say, your accounting, your bookkeeping, or classifying like certain receipts, instead of like just telling it each time, like, hey, do this thing, or be a good copywriter, or go be a good designer, basically, you kind of like just predefine those skills. You specify them of like, hey, this is who you are, this is how you want to, this is how you solve this. And then you can actually use those skills out of the box, and then like just then takes away all the prompting around it, basically. And you can even use it in the API as well. So you can just call the skill, you can give it a name, and then you can kind of like use that and like get very like much more specific and accurate answers, basically.
Yeah, that's really helpful to be able to have something that you can just always call back to, that has the same, that you know that you can trust, that you don't have to rewrite it every single time, and that you can actually call it as well. That's pretty special. There are many, you may create projects and things in with ChatGPT or in various other tools, but you can't really call those specific projects or spaces. And this gives you a little bit more of that nuance, where you can still get that customized answer that you want and call that.
Yeah, I think it's really neat. I've played around with it, actually. I use it here and there, but I think especially like the API integration is like really neat for like a developer, for example. because you can kind of like reference it. And again, as you said, like ChatGPT projects, you can't really reference in the API. You have to like manually log in and do it basically yourself.
Yeah. So what are some skills that you use it for?
So I use it for like, because we built the app for Vibe, for example. So I have like a skill that's like dedicated to like designing wireframes and like coming up with new designs. It knows the color codes, it knows the patterns, it kind of like knows the design system that we use. So instead of like re-specifying it every single time, I basically like, hey, go Vibe designer, like go build this new layout, basically, go build this new screen. And it has like all the things built in. And then if I want to write like a copy, it kind of like knows the vibe and the tone. It knows like what words I want to use. And then it kind of writes like a blog article in a certain way. I've trained it with like a couple of things of like, here is the content I like from X person. Like this is how they structure the content. And so then I just like repurpose that skill and regenerate it basically. And so I can then automate my tasks. So we obviously have like a newsletter. So like I can automate these types of things where previously I had to go into the UI, run it, and now I can kind of automate it in the flow like n8n or like Zapier, and it can just automate it. And because the skills are callable, I can just kind of like, I can reuse those skills. So it's been really neat to like use them in those situations.
Yeah, super cool. Those that makes a lot of sense, I think, to be able to then just create a quick prompt of, hey, create new material with that design that you already know. That's really helpful.
It saves us on time, and it helps with automations, which is fun.
Yeah.
Cool. I think the last one that I have on the docket for today, a little demo at least, I wanted to show because I was meeting with the Vibe member Merly the other day. And she was just kind of like figuring something out and like, how do I get this from here to there? She's like, I just want to like have an email list of all the people that I've emailed, and I want to basically market them. And so she's like, how do I do this? I'm like, well, actually, it's really easy now because you can connect your ChatGPT to your email account. And then you can just ask it like, hey, go give me a list of all the email addresses that I have emailed. Obviously make it unique. Go look within the last year, for example. And then within a couple of minutes, it was able to like pull a CSV file of all the emails of all the contacts that she has emailed before. And then she was able to take that CSV list and upload that into our marketing platform, basically. And so I kind of wanted to showcase that real quick because I thought it was like so neat because you can just like solve some of these problems like so easily now, which is kind of fascinating. But within ChatGPT, again, there's a couple of things that you may or may not be aware is there is this plus here, and you obviously have like photos, files, deep research, like a different models here. But like if you click on more, you can actually see that there's now like Google Drive, GitHub. But more interestingly, if you go to the settings, you have a ton of apps and connectors now. So built in. So you can actually go connect your Gmail account. And so now it has access to all of my emails. You can connect your G Drive. So now you can, again, search for documents. We talked about this with Gemini. You can connect it to any other apps. But HubSpot, CRM, Intercom, like Notion, Slack, these are all kind of like built-in tools. And then the advanced setting, you can actually like set up like your own integrations as well. And you can kind of connect anything you want, basically. But what's cool is you can basically ask things like, when was the last time I emailed Nick? And so like, let's say I go this, check my emails. And then where was it? I think that's maybe it. I think that's, it only knows what to do now. So let's see. Live demo, always nice. It is thinking right now. But I'm going to search for emails involving Nick. So I have Nick's full name. So he's going to do like basically like a little text search here. Check out a bunch. Give me the body header. So it's still doing something. Last email to Nick. Look at that. Vibe introduction, workflows to your tech, your smart operations. So from me. And then now I can just go to Gmail and I can open the link. It's phenomenal. So it's just crazy. And so I think these things are really cool. Like if you use Notion, you can basically ask things like, when was the last time, what's everything assigned to me? You can do all these things basically. So like if you ask like, hey, what's due this week? You can ask now ChatGPT. So like ChatGPT kind of becomes like the interface to kind of control everything and to ask a bunch of questions of where stuff's at. And you don't have to like jump between tools. You have to like use each AI agent within each tool. You can kind of connect them all together. And you can even give it tasks like, hey, go create me a new tasks in Notion that says like, follow up with Nick and talk to him and prepare an agenda for the next doc. And so now it does that and all within ChatGPT.
Very cool. Yeah. I mean, 10 months ago, that did not exist at all. And that was me creating a lot of those workflows in N8N, Zapier, to connect those and make those integrations. Those integrations were a super, super valuable part of Zapier and N8N. And now those are actually within ChatGPT, within Gemini and Claude and so on. And it's just going to expand. They're just going to try to make as many connections as possible. Right now it's pulling information. Then it's going to be creating slides, creating docs, creating things as well, and kind of going from there.
Yeah. I mean, how often have I worked with people and they're like, oh, what was the thing about again? Like they don't recall where it is, right? And so now you can just kind of like ask it like, hey, like I know there is something about like the holiday Christmas party, like I don't know where it's at, like go find it, right? Now it will like go through all the sources and it will find it for you. So I think it's just like such a productivity helper. It's wild. Like I use it all the time. And the connectors are just neat, right? Because you don't have to build a bunch of stuff. I think, as you said, like previously you had to rely on AI consultants and just like agencies to kind of come in and build this thing like for you customized. And now these things just come out of the box. Like you don't do any developer. You just click on the button, log in, and it's all connected and it's like wired up, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's a Google search, but not just for the internet, but it's a Google search for everything that you have access to right now. Everything where you take notes, where you have videos, everything.
Yeah, and it works on the fly. Like you can even voice it, so like you don't have to like type it necessarily. So if you're on the go, same thing. You can just talk to it, and like in the car, like you can like kind of have a conversation. Actually, you can keep working, which I actually ended up doing a lot lately. Is like I have a Tesla, so I use Grok, but they released Grok in the Tesla, so it's really cool because you can just kind of talk to it, and obviously it has like access to like the internet and stuff like that. So you can have like a full blown conversation. And it's really fun. And I do it like all the time. Like now it's kind of sitting there in my car talking, which is hilarious.
It's actually great for brainstorming, having new ideas and sort of talking them through and figuring things out. I do it a lot as well, even in terms of topics to discuss for certain meetings or what should I really focus on with this potential client call. There's a lot that can come up from that.
Yeah, I agree. I think brainstorming is like so important because sometimes you just don't know what to ask and like you don't know how to think about it. And so you just get the questions asked and then you actually get a different angle from it, which is really cool. I love doing that as well.
Yeah. And then you can ask, hey, send me an email with the notes of what we just talked about. And then you have that there and then you can access that right before the call to know exactly the points that you wanted to share. And it really empowers you to be the best sort of marketer, salesperson, anything that you want to be for your business.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Nick, this was awesome. This was a cool agenda. Thank you so much for, again, being flexible, moving this. So I appreciate it.
Anytime, JP. I understand. With kids, things need to change all the time. So I totally get that.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much again. This was an amazing episode. I'm excited for the next one. It doesn't get boring. There will be lots of stuff to cover.
There's always something.
Yeah, there's always something. And we'll have more demos and neat tricks to how to use these things so you can actually like get advanced and do something. So yes, again, thank you so much, Nick. Have an amazing day and I will see you next time.
Yeah, thanks so much. Bye, guys.
Bye.